Hi, I'm Beck. I'm a psychologist, and we're talking about speaking soul today. And so, if you want to learn to speak soul, it reminds me of the Stroop effect experiment, which you might have heard of, about the colors. And the colors are there, they're written in a color, and they also say a color. So, for example, you might have the word red written in yellow writing. And the experiment goes, people interpret the words or the written words when the color is written in another color. So the word yellow could be written in black. The person has to say aloud the color, not the word. Now, it takes more time for the brain to interpret that information. So the study shows that when they are in alignment, the color and the word together, we read it no worries really quick. But when they're different, the word and the color don't match up, our brain takes a little longer. You can get the Stroop effect experiment online if you want to have a go and time yourself, but you will notice it takes you longer. You can do it, it just takes longer to read. Speaking soul is a little bit like that. You're getting the information, but you don't necessarily have the whole picture yet. And so it takes some time to filter that information through. And so this is where nothing's at face value. So let's just say some examples might be that you are magnetically attracted to a person. So you've got that information, and that information comes with a magnetic pull. Now, you can interpret that lots of different ways. But this is where that detachment comes in to go, all right, what is all the information here? And so often it might be because I'm meant to be with that person's my person, and so attracted to them that is the basis of a relationship. But what if you took some time to sit with that energy and you decided, oh, that's because that person perfectly mirrors a dynamic that I need to process through my system. And this is my psyche's way of telling me this will help me process that dynamic through my system so I don't carry that pattern on any further. You might be really pulled to help a friend or a person in crisis in let's say, a domestic violence relationship. You might feel incredibly invested in getting that person out of that relationship, and you have to project all your effort and energy into, let's empower this person to get out. Now, on the surface, that might be the information you're getting, this big drive to help, and we have to help. Now, if you sit with that a little bit and you detach from that energy to do that, and you run that through your system, well, what is that energy asking from you? Is it asking you to integrate a part of yourself that's been disempowered? Is it asking you to stand more firmly in your own power? Is it asking you to heal aspects of yourself that you've abandoned and betrayed along the way? Now, this is not to say that you shouldn't get in that relationship with that person or help that friend out. So often it is through those situations that the processing comes, that unintegrated aspect of self that is being mirrored to us through these dynamics is allowed to come home. But you sort of get to shortcut the process if you have an understanding that things aren't always as they seem, and that so often a situation that is calling you in will be because there is an unintegrated aspect that situation holds for you. So if you can approach that situation knowing that, you're ahead of the game, and you'll be able to continue through that process and not live your life through a lens of, well, I'm not going to get involved in that situation because I don't need to. I just need to integrate the part, because that's not how life works. So often we need that situation, and if we don't fully open to that situation, not necessarily having to throw ourselves in a lot of investment, but open ourselves energetically to the process. You can even energetically walk through the process without actually having to pursue it if you've got a deep-seated knowing that it is an unintegrated aspect of you. For example, if you're magnetically pulled to a person, yet you might be in a situation where that's not appropriate to explore. You might be in a relationship. They might be in a relationship. It's just not a dynamic that you, in your own integrity, want to pursue. You can walk through it energetically. What is that? Feel that magnetic pull. What is it calling you into? What is that person mirroring to you? Perhaps, and so often, it is an aspect of ourself that is a wonderful aspect that we haven't yet integrated. And so often in the narcissistic empath sort of dynamic, narcissists so often act as mirrors. They're just mirrors. They just mirror back. They don't have a sense of self, enough of a sense of self to project anything out. So they're just mirroring to stay safe. It's a protective mechanism. So there's still compassion. Doesn't mean they're safe, but there's still compassion there for that defensive mechanism, that protective mechanism. So as an empath, so often they're mirroring parts of ourselves, yourself, us, that we haven't integrated in terms of our own power, our own deep love. And so it's like through the love of them, do we then fully get to love ourselves? You don't need to put yourself through a toxic relationship to find that self-love. So often we do, and that's how we find it. But if you understand you can walk through a relationship energetically first to integrate the part that that person's trying to pull out of you, you might not have to go through the toxicity. Of course, so often that's how we start. And we have to walk through the fire first. Before then we understand what these relationships are calling us into, what they're asking us to discover within ourselves. So good luck with exploring that concept.